Welcome back everybody to Forest Simpler One's channel, and this is Timberborn, and this is, well, as I affectionately like to call it, Beaver Buildy. And this is not your regular sort of building game, this is a kick your ass, oh my god, how the hell did that happen sort of game. And all you have to do is manage your water, and that is the main goal of this game. Manage your water, make your food, get your beavers happy, and that's basically it. But yeah, I've been playing this game on and off for about 3, 4 months or something now. And I just want to share with you a few tips on how to get started and how to manage your colony and stuff like that. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, the first thing that you're going to need to know is that all structures need to be connected via a path. That's pretty basic, but that's all you need to know to begin with. The first thing you want to do when you put in your settlement is get some water production going. Just put in your water supply. And the next thing you're going to need to do is collect some wood. Now, the lumberjack flag is the one that will collect wood. And this is something that is not very intuitive because it doesn't really make sense. Like you'd think that the lumberjack flag would just actually start harvesting the wood that is around it, but that's not actually the way that it works. You have to click on this button down here, cut trees, and mark your tree cutting area. If you do not do this, the lumberjack will not work. Now, the next thing that you need to do when you first start a game is put in a gatherer's flag. You will usually be next to some blueberries. You need this to supplement your food before the farms are actually fully operational. Which brings me to my next point. Farmhouse is the next thing that you need to put in. And this, you need to put in some carrots and you want some potatoes. Like that. Now, with the potatoes, you need a grill to actually eat them, or for your beavers to eat them. Because if you don't have a grill, the potatoes are just going to sit there and your beavers aren't going to do anything. And you also have to select your grill and tell it what to produce or it won't produce anything. So in this case, it's grilled potatoes, but you've got grilled chestnuts and grilled spadderdock as well. Okay, so there is one thing that's going on here that you should probably pay attention to. They will build all of these, but if you need to set the priority for something to be built quickly, these are the buttons in here. You select the item, and you set it to the priority that you need. For example, we're going to set this to the highest priority because as you can see, we have 0 water and these guys are about to start getting dehydrated and dying if we don't get some water. So we need that water thing in quickly, which brings me to my next point. You're going to need a tank just so they don't get the water directly from the water pump. They can just come here to the small water tank and get their water straight up that way. Alright, moving on. So we have the farm in, we have the water supply in. Once the farmhouse has gone in, you can actually start putting in your housing for your beavers. Beavers will not breed unless they have free housing. So you have to get your houses in pretty quickly, otherwise you will have an aging populace that will not be breeding. Now, the best way that I find of doing this is to leave a little bit of a gap at either end, because the idea is that you're going to be putting another set of houses on top of these. And yes, you can build houses on top of houses. There are some people who build entire skyscrapers and things for the beavers so they've got housing. You might want to look it up. There's some stuff on YouTube and some stuff on Steam that will actually show you how to stack these so that you get the highest efficiency. But you can stack these pretty high, you can take them right up to the sky, and that's about it. Now, once all of those houses are in, you're going to have to look at science and put in an inventor or 2 To start with, you just really need one, because you need to unlock the wooden stairs and the platform. Check where your water supply is coming from. See, this is all falling off the edge of the map here. So the water supply is coming from all the way up here. What you need to do is dam in a water supply for your beavers for the drought season, because if you don't do that, then the beavers are simply going to die of thirst during the drought. The first drought usually only lasts about 3 days or 2 days or something like that, but you definitely need to have some dams in the meantime. Okay, so once you've got a proper water supply, the next thing you need to think about is getting planks being built with the lumber mill. Now, to start off with, the lumber mill really just needs a power wheel, and a beaver will be used in this power wheel, and it'll take one worker, and it'll only work during the day, which most of the things only work during the day. And you need a worker for the lumber mill as well, which is why it's important to get your houses in quickly, because otherwise you won't have enough employees. Now, the reason that you need a lumber mill in quickly while you've still got some wood out here is because you need to be able to put in a forester. Now, the forester is going to put in some wood that will grow, because you're going to need a regular supply of wood. And that should give us a regular supply of wood once the forester is in. But you can't actually put in a forester until after you have a lumber mill. So you have to use at least some of your lumber to begin with on making planks, because the forester requires planks to start planting. So the next thing that I want to talk to you about is platforms. Now, you can put platforms around the edges of buildings and over the top of paths. So beavers will still be able to pass underneath the platforms. So basically you can create something like we've got here, where you've got platforms around the edges of the houses, and then you can build houses on the top because the houses are solid. And you can put rooftop terraces, which are for entertainment, campfires, which are for entertainment, and that way your beavers will be in a much better position for well-being. And as you can see here, I have unlocked the forester, which is a priority. By the way, it is a very big priority in the game. And he's started planting trees, and they're just starting to be harvested now because they've finished growing. So the first thing you want to do is get yourself a proper water supply. So I'm starting the section off this piece here, and this piece here. Now I have to go out over here, and I'm going to put in a levee here. So I have to go basically straight through here, straight up to here, and put a levee out across here. And I also have to put a levee in over here on this side. The next thing that you need to unlock after you've got the stairwell, obviously, levees. Now, levees will block the water supply completely, but they're also cheaper than dams. I can divert the river to whichever direction I want just by simply putting in levees wherever I need them. Now that we've got our platform, I'll show you how to get up onto ledges like this. Put your platform there like that. Put your stairways in like that, and connect up your path. Simple as that. Water supply in this game is key. You definitely need a lot of water. These are beavers, they consume a lot of water. The water's used for growing their crops and things like that. And that is the main premise of this game. Build your dams, collect your water supply, and carry on after that. But first things first, you've got to secure a proper water supply. Okay, so we have just run into our first problem with the district. See, the district will only stretch out this far. However, I have to build a levee across there, which means that the district workers probably won't be able to reach out that far to actually build that levee. So what I'm going to have to do is put in another district here so that it can reach out to there. What you need to do for a district is you need a distribution post, a drop-off point, which are both going to cost you 250, and you're going to put in you need to put in a district gate, say over here, which will separate this out into a new district. Then you need to put a district center in, like in here, and you need to put your drop-off point so that they can drop off berries and carrots or whatever you're feeding them. Initially, probably water is a good idea as well. Alright, so when you're creating a new district, you have to put in a district gate somewhere along the path. You have to put in a drop-off point so that you can drop off the goods. And then in paths and structures, you've got the district center. And you need to place that in as well. Now, the rest of it is just like building your starter civilization. But to get people out there, what you have to do is migrate the population between the two districts. Now, I suggest you only take the unemployed over to the new district, otherwise your industry is going to suffer. But first things first, you have to set distribution post to send stuff to the drop-off point. So you want to send logs, planks, berries, and water to the drop-off point to start you off with. One thing that I should probably point out is that pine trees won't die for 12 days during a drought. Well, actually, I think it's like 14 days or something. A drought will never last longer than it takes to kill trees. So now that you've got a distribution post, this is how you use it. You click on add a new route and you send it to where you need it to go. And let's just say berries. And you have to do this for each individual thing that you want to send there. So we're going to doing all of this stuff. We'll send planks over there as well. And we're going to send water over there as well. Right, so we've got berries, water, planks, logs, and this is how you migrate it. So we're just going to name this Levee Wall. Very imaginative name, I know. And this is going to be very imaginative again, town center. Now, the way that you do this is you migrate the population. So we're going out to the levee wall. We're going to send 5 beavers out there and just migrate them out there straight away. And they will go to work. So I have these chestnuts over here. To harvest chestnuts, you have to put in a gatherer flag. Once you have your gatherer flag in, you need a grill, and you need to set it to grilled chestnuts. But here is the next thing that I can do. I can put in an aquatic farmhouse. Now, the way that these work, you put your aquatic farmhouse there like that, just like it's a regular structure, and you put a path down into the water. Then you've got to plant the crops. So I'm going to go with, let's say, spatterdock, and I'm going to grow it all the way out here. Now, with an aquatic farmhouse, you have to process the food. So I've just put in a grill here for the grilled spatterdock. Once this is built, he's going to put in spatterdock all through here, and I need someone here that can actually make the spatterdock once it's done. Not all is lost when your beavers start starving. We're going to migrate the populace from here back out to there. What I can do is I can migrate all the population back into the main city. That's why it's good to have many districts, because if one district fails, you've got the other ones to come back with. Alright, something else I want to talk to you about is a water dump site. So if you put a levee right around in a little, you only need a little bit of water in there, but if you put a levee around and then you get one of these, a water dump, it'll dump water directly into there and it won't overflow from there. It'll only dump it into that spot. Just put a little platform over here and a stairwell, and beavers will be able to access it. There will be a worker that is required for this, but I will show you what happens once it's actually built. There you have it. So it's put some water in this water dump site and it's turned this entire area green, and now we can have more trees in here. That's a really easy way of getting water where you need it most. Okay, next thing I need to talk to you about is power. Now, each faction is unique when it comes to power. Like this one has windmills and the other faction has something else. I can't remember what it is. But anyway, when you need power, a water wheel is probably the best way to go for either faction. So you just place your water wheel down like this, and you can chain these together like that. Connect up the power. We go like this, and we'll put one of these on here. But power is used for many things in this game. You need it for lumber mills, you need it for gear workshops, you need it for paper mills, you need it for printing press. Practically everything above the starter area uses power. And this is just a basic way of getting it. The water flows through here, turns the water wheels. Yeah, that's it. Now, unfortunately, power like this will only work when the river is flowing. So during droughts, your production basically comes to a halt. With this faction, though, you can use windmills as well. So you can just add those into your power source. So grab 1, 2, 3 windmills. Show you how to connect them up. Boom, like that. Windmills require logs and planks, but water wheels only require logs. So at the start of the game, for the water wheels, that is the way to go. There is another type of power source that you can get. It's one of these power wheels. Now this will take an employee, only really use it in an emergency situation like over here, how I've got an employee working on it. You only really use it in emergencies because it will tie up one of your beaver workers while ever it's operational, just to make your planks or whatever. If you need to get down to another layer because you can't see what's underneath it, this button up here on the top right will actually change which layer you're looking at. So you can put it right down and it will allow you to access in between layers. If you leave it on infinite, then it will show you everything from a top-down view, but you can just go down the layers, put in things on each individual layer if you need to. Okay, so the next thing I need to show you is the difference between floodgates and levees. Now, floodgates have to be manually managed. There's no way of managing them all at once so that you can set them to maximum level or move them down to the minimum level. But floodgates allow you to manage your water a bit better, because if you take a look at my stream gauge, it's actually about to run out of water and the drought is almost over. So if I want to expand my beaver base, I'm going to need more water than the water that I'm currently have. So you put in floodgates, like over here, because I've already blocked off the rest of the sections. Put some floodgates here, and I put one floodgate here just as a relief valve if I need it. That one's going to be set to maximum height, but these ones, they will be set at 0.5, and when the drought is about to hit, a day before the drought hits or something like that, half a day maybe, what you do is you get your floodgates and you just move them to the maximum level, and it will fill up the water area through here so that you have a higher water level to help you get through the drought. It's very, very handy, and it needs to be done to manage your water. You really have to manage your water supply, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so the grid is outputting 1180 horsepower, 1200 horsepower now. And I know what you're thinking. How do I get power onto the other side of a path? Well, what you need to do is unlock the high power shaft, and I'll show you how this is done. Take some power, say from here, and we'll put one of these on like this because we might want to put another windmill in there. And you go across like this. Now, you need to put a platform here so that it can get across. And you put your high power shaft here like this, put your other thing like that, and then you put your high power shaft on the other side, and you can connect up whatever you want on the other side. And the beavers will still be able to get past through the path, but you can provide power to the other side of a path this way. Now, the other thing about power that you need to know is that power will go through powered buildings. So you see how I've got this connected onto that? Well, it will actually transfer power into this building. So you don't have to actually connect individual power to each building. You can just connect it to the grid of buildings, and the power will be provided to all of them. Okay, so the next thing is metal. This is the smelter. Now it requires scrap metal to build, gears and planks, but it will produce metal. And metal is used to build things like mechanical water pump. Pump water up one side and discharge it on the other, more efficient than a regular pump. So that requires 50 metal, and also monuments require metal as well. But you do need metal for a few things in the game. So the way that you do this, you put in a scavenger's flag near the closest metal supply that you've got. As you can see, you won't find any metal in the same area as your starter area. If you look around here, you can see that there's no metal that's accessible from the starter area. So you have to actually put in a second district, but from your second district you can start harvesting your scrap metal. Now the next part of metal is that you need to get the mines. So you got to unlock the mine with 4,000 research points, which you'll just eventually get anyway, and you'll need treated planks for it. So treated planks, you have to install a tapper's shack, which you can just install one near any pine forest and the tapper will go to work. Make the wood workshop, and the wood workshop will make you your treated planks, and that will allow you to put in your mine. Now generally you're going to have to put another district to get to any mine, possibly 2 districts sometimes as well, so just keep that in mind. Now logs are also used to burn. In this, it only uses 0.1 for each production, but it does use logs, so when you've got a lot of these things running, it will use a fair few logs, so you've got to make sure that you keep on top of that as well. Alright, so I think that about covers the basics that you need to know to get started in this game. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you do, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel. And I will see you all next time. Peace out.